Hello, everybody. All right, so welcome to Mikestand. Today is Tuesday, October the 8th, 2024. Um, as usual, we're going to give people a chance to come in. I hope everybody's having a good week thus far. We'll give it a few minutes to give people a chance to come in, and then I'll talk a little bit about what we're going to cover tonight. Um, anyway, let me just take care of a couple of things here. Let's see. All right, let me just do one more quick little thing. It's about that time of year again. Sleigh bells ringing, tongues of good cheer again. Hearts are mighty and good here again. Coming up Christmas time. Coming up Christmas time. About that time of year again. Sleigh bells ringing, tongues of good cheer again. Hearts are plenty. And here again, coming up Christmas time. All right, so let's see, what time is it now? Okay, so we're coming up on the 3 minute mark now. So maybe do one more thing here, then I'll talk about. All right, so with that, so here's what's on tap for now. I got a couple articles I'm going to go over. One from Bounding into Cons, one from Bleeding Fool. The first article we're going to look at is, I guess, some commentary on the recent OVA that was being shown on Adult Swim called Uzumaki. There's not a property that's connected with Naruto. It's something really different. Apparently, there's, I guess, some issues there maybe. But also, then we're gonna move on to article on Bleeding. That's on Abounding in the Comics, and then we're gonna go over to Bleeding Fool and talk a little bit about, I guess, J. Michael Straczynski's planned deconstruction of Captain America. So we're going to be looking at that. That's going to be, of course, an Avi article. For those of you who know what we're talking about. Also, of course, we'll have the wrestling wrap up and this day meets history. So with all that being said, why don't we go ahead then and get started here. And so here we go. Let's get to the first article here. All right, so Adult Swim producer claims Uzumaki, in smaller quotes, quality drop, the result of production team being quote unquote screwed over, says series was aired instead of being canceled quote, out of respect for the hard work, unquote. So I wonder what's going on here then. Article by Spencer McCulley, published earlier today. So, for those of you who don't know, they've been promising to put this anime on Adult Swim for the last 4 or 5 years. It made a lot of people wait on it, wait on it, wait on it. You know, um, I myself was kind of looking forward to watching it until I found out they were only doing it subbed, not dubbed. Um, but that's neither here nor there. So, let's kind of take a look and see what they're. And of course, this is an anime that was done in black and white, not color, just like a manga. So, according to Toonami Bots and Adult Swim producer Jason DeMarco, while the network's new anime adaptation of Uzumaki does does see an embarrassing steep drop in quality after its first episode, he felt airing the series in this state was better than binning it all together and disrespecting the quote unquote hard work of its production team. Produced in collaboration between Japanese anime studio Production IG, which also gave us such classics as, of course, Ghost in the Shell, mind you, and the American TV programming block Adult Swim. The four-episode Uzumaki promised to not only provide viewers with an animated adaptation of the eponymous Junji Ito horror manga, um, but do so with an aesthetic style that would make it seem as if the iconic mangaka's art had leapt right off the page. While an admittingly tall ambition, following a delay-ridden five-year dev period, which we alluded to, when the series finally premiered to Japanese audiences on September 29th, it appeared as if its respective production teams had actually managed to deliver on their promises, with the first episode blowing audiences away with the skill and dedication it's shown in revealing both Ito's seminal art style and its intended creepy atmosphere. Now, just for those of you who may not know, the word Uzumaki and the Japanese word Uzumaki translates to hurricane, as I believe. So, Uzumaki is Japanese for the word we know of as hurricane. So, and then a week later came episode 2. Now, starting with episode 2, apparently it went for, I guess the first episode 1 was only a half hour, and then episode 2 was starting with I guess episodes 2, 3, and 4 are all 45 minutes. So, premiering on October 6th, upon its airing, fans were baffled to discover that while its predecessor had featured some of the best animation in recent memory, not even an inkling of the quality was present in its follow-up. As seen below, rather than integrate treatment of Ito's work, the second episode was instead a masterclass in cutting corners. Its runtime filled with poorly timed run cycles. Wonder why? I wonder. Well, of course, the $1 million question there is why the drop off? What happened? Off model characters. I guess they're showing them here. Yeah, that kind of, I mean, some of that actually reminds me more of like the 60s animation right there. Like Astro Boy and Gigantor. Not that that's a bad thing per se, but and low frame count animations. Amid a subsequent barrage of criticism and questions from audiences regarding this downgrade, the aforementioned DeMarco took to his personal Blu-ray Bluesky account on October 7th, so yesterday, my birthday, to provide insight into the entire affair. In a now deleted thread made in apparent response to a comment made by another user regarding the backlash, the Toonami head asserted, quote, "It's fine. We knew this would happen. I can't talk about what went down, but we were screwed over, and the options were A, not finish and air nothing and call it a loss, B, and air episode 1 and leave it incomplete, or C, run all four uh, warts and all. Run all four warts and all. Out of respect for the hard work, we chose C." Okay, so he can't. So something must have happened behind the scene. He claims they got screwed over. So, hmm. Quote: "After waiting so long, it makes sense people would be mad." Unquote. He continued. Quote: "Unfortunately, I can't tell them who to blame it on, but someone is definitely at fault here, and we all just had to do our best when things imploded. Maybe others would have made different choices. We did the best we could with what we had." Unquote. Drawing his thread to a close, DeMarco ultimately affirmed, quote, "But again, a lot of people worked very hard on this show, and I didn't think the actions of just one or two people should be the reason it never saw the light of day." Unquote. Quote, "Maybe that's the wrong choice. I truly don't know." Unquote. He concluded, "But those people have a right to be annoyed and disappointed. I'm glad you are digging it." Unquote. Yeah. All right. So the last two episodes of production IG and Adult Swim's Uzumaki misfire. The last two episodes of production IG and Adult Swim's Uzumaki misfire are set to are set to, I guess, air across the next two coming Sundays, October 13th and October 20th. So Sunday morning, Saturday night, basically the 12th and 19th. So, um, so yeah, so obviously something happened behind the scene, but apparently, I guess they can't go into it. So, um, but that does kind of bite, doesn't it? So, Anyway, so with that one down, I guess we'll move on to the next one. I thought that one would be a little bit longer than it was, but I think that'll be okay. I said it's a good thing I chose 2 articles tonight in that event. Let me go grab another article here. The one from Bleeding Fool. Depending, well, we might have another one. We might just due to the fact that depending upon how the time goes here. Let's see. I do need to step away from the computer for a moment, though, so I'll be right back. As always, if you guys haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we get some more friendly people in here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, step away from the computer for a moment, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So let's get in this next article here. This next article here. J. Michael Straczynski set to deconstruct Captain American next. Article by Avi Green, published earlier today. Captain America, I don't know if that was a misprint or what have you, but I guess we'll wait and see. So, Marvel Comics, this article by Avi Green, so just be prepared for some scathing critique here. Marvel Comics continues its degradation of the Star-Spangled Avenger, along with Spidey and even Thor, using one of the worst writers of modern times to get to that point. Has announced in this fluff-coated Newsrama article. So now we're going to the article that Avi's referencing here. So writer J. Michael Straczynski is well known for his work on some of Marvel's most popular characters. With the fan favorite writer currently helming the Captain America ongoing. This is the article talking, not Avi talking, obviously. Now in Captain America number 14, Straczynski brought brings in two of the Marvel characters for which he is best known, with Spider-Man and Thor teaming up with Cap for a wild adventure. Drawing on a bit of the Thor mythos, the trio become an quote-unquote impromptu Warriors 3 as they team up. So much for Hogan, Fandral, and Volstagg, it seems, in parentheses there. But whatever they're up against, it seems it could take them places they never expected, as their very minds and sanity may be on the line. Straczynski is well known for his work on Thor, which restored and altered the mythos of Asgard in the Marvel Universe by having the godly realm manifest on Earth. Likewise, he is perhaps best known for his long Spider-Man run, which culminated in the infamous story, in smaller quotes, One More Day, in which Peter and Mary Jane Watson trade their marriage to Mephisto to save Aunt May. Yeah, I know that got a lot of criticism. I've heard, we've probably mentioned, we've had a few people mention that one. Now going back to Avi here. Let's see. Let me just see if there's any comments yet before I continue on with the article. I'll find the cursor, of course. Oh, there's anyone here? You're the first one other than me there, Elk. I'm actually going over an Avi article if you want to stick around, and I'm sure you'll have some critique there for him. You always do. Let's see. He's Avi now speaking. He's also known for at least a few stories that belittled the female cast, including Sins Past, which made both Gwen Stacy and MJ look bad. That Gwen was made to look like she'd still been conscious before the Green Goblin knocked her off the George Washington Bridge in New York City, was just one of quite a few discrepancies with past continuity to boot. And all this is curiously told without any objectivity or opinions on whether J. Michael Straczynski, JMS, made serious mistakes that may never be mended. And fan favorite? Why make us laugh for the wrong reasons? I recall his Thor run stuck Sif in the body of an old lady for a number of issues via the meddling of Loki, in parentheses there, and most women in that run were pretty much on the sidelines too. How odd that the modern wokesters don't seem to see that as troubling. Hmm. It's bad enough J. Michael Straczynski was allowed to write Cap, since no chance he'll do any better than many of the worst writers who've gotten their mitts on the Star Spangled Avengers title in the past decade. Now he's been being permitted by C.B. Cebulski to do more writing on Spider-Man and Thor, two characters whose titles he also succeeded in bringing down in horribly in quality and in the 2000s, and have never recovered as a result. Of course, even if J. Michael Straczynski, hadn't been given the green light to script those two anew, I still wouldn't want to waste time on his Cap rendition. Jack Kirby and Joe Simon's famous creation may never recover from the damage first done by Joe Quesada. All right, then. So with that, and there is actually one newer article that came up that I hadn't announced because I didn't know. I didn't really know that. I guess we got enough time to go over it, I guess. This one just popped up like right before the show. So, like clockwork, Kickstarter unfairly bans the Emerald Array comic. So let's see what's going on here. Then this is another one. So, like clockwork, Kickstarter unfairly bans the Emerald Array, in smaller quotes there, comic. Article by Victor James, published today, so October 8th, 2024. So let's take a look here to see what's going on here. It has only been days since I wrote about Indiegogo banning Cecil's cash grab. In that article, I expressed my opinion that Kickstarter 2 could not be trusted. Progressive activists are a virulent form of cancer. They may go into remission, but if you keep them in your company, they will eventually return to sicken it again. Like clockwork, just a day later, Kickstarter banned John Della Rosa. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't, and much again, I have my reasons. I will not promote John Della Rose. So, hey, Comdot. So with that, let me go back to Bounding into Comics. See if there's anything there we can talk about. And nothing new there. Let's see now. Let me look at some other places here. Oh yeah, wait a minute. Another one, okay. Oh, here's something we had been following a while back. So here, we'll talk about this then. Well, I haven't been watching Agatha all along, so anyway, let's see what the boxen is at him. What is the Trigun anime? What is the Trigun anime series? Trigun is it's kind of a space western type anime series featuring Vash Stampede. So it's at least a minimal what I know. You haven't watched Velma either. Yeah, but again, I pay more attention to the animated stuff than the live action stuff. So you showed the bottom of the mounting story. Yeah, so anyways, moving on. Max's Velma series will reportedly not get a third season. And actually, this is something I did hear about on somebody else's stream, or not stream, but video earlier. Excuse me a moment. I need to step away from the computer. I'll be right back. Gotta go. I'll be right back. I thought my sister called me. That's why I had to step away for a moment. Let's see. Catchy music, yeah. When I need to step away, I usually put it on where there's no dead air here. So, anyways, let's get into this article then. Let me see. I guess we're still making good time, just at the 30-minute mark here. Max's Velma series will reportedly not get a third season. Article by John F. Trent, published earlier today. So, Davy Cummings, an artist on Max's Hollywood special for Velma, claims that the show will not receive a third season. And I think a lot of people are thankful for that. That series did not go over well, particularly with original Scooby-Doo fans. In a post to Instagram, Cummings wrote, backgrounds I painted for Velma Halloween special. So fun working with this crew. There will not be a season 3, but I hope I get to work with these amazing talented people again one day, unquote. He then encouraged his followers to watch the Halloween special, writing, quote, go watch Velma Halloween special on Max. The show's cancellation is not surprising, given audiences made it clear they did not like the show. The show has an abysmal 1.6 out of 10 rating on IMDb, and an overwhelming 86.2% of reviewers giving the show a 1 out of 10. So that's bad. That's like real bad. Oh boy. I guess that's the rating scale right there. I'm sure there are people who, if they could have given it a 0, they probably would have given it a 0. On top of abysmal review scores, the show appeared to not really have an audience. The show's premiere episode, which arrived on Max back in January 2023, only received 5,000 reviews. Well, the whole thing was they were trying to take a lot of legacy characters here. They were trying to build off the idea that this was a Scooby-Doo spinoff, even though Scooby was not really in the show, and people just were not having it, What it turned out to be a self-insert of Mindy Kaling and what she would have done, with the characters, putting herself in the form of Velma in the series. On top of the abysmal review scores, the show appeared to not really. Okay, so the show. Okay, and we saw all that. It received 5,100 reviews. The season 1 finale only garnered 1,800 reviews. That is a decline of 64.7%. It did not get any better with the second season. In fact, it got a whole lot worse. The season 2 premiere only received 598 reviews. The finale received 559. Wow, that's low. Even with receiving less than 600 reviews, it still seemingly lost over 6% of the people reviewing the show. Furthermore, the recently released Halloween special, which debuted on October 3rd, last Thursday, had only received 52 reviews so far. And they're Shaggy in there looking like he's trying to be Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. Got Daphne portraying an angel, I guess. Almost supposed to be a ghost, I guess. Given the clear lack of viewership for the show, it is unlikely it will be missed. On top of that, the show was a poster child for woke ideology, and seeing a vehicle for woke propaganda get scrapped is always a good thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, as we continue on with the article here. What do you make of Velma not getting a third season? Probably a good thing. Velma bombs. HBO Max turns off YouTube comments as dislikes explode. Yeah, it's usually what happens when you try to force certain types of content they don't want. All right, so with that, with that little tidbit, we actually ended up covering a little bit more than we thought. 37 minutes, so considering where I want to, how I want to get to the end here. So what we'll do now, of course, we will. I will go right into the wrestling wrap up. So last night WWE held its Monday Night Raw event. They actually recorded 2 episodes as next week they'll be in England for a live tour in England. So they'll be, they decided to, of course, tonight also, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going to be going down on NXT tonight, as it were, as well. So let me just get there. Oh yeah, actually we do a title Tuesday today because Dynamite ended up being on Tuesday this week, so also be looking at that. Right, I would just. So, anyways, from first, I'm going to head over to WWE for last night's. So, Jey Uso retained the Intercontinental Championship over Xavier Woods as the apparent slow heel turn of Xavier Woods continues to develop. As after the match, he refused to shake hands with Uso. They're working the storyline where he's, I guess, getting frustrated at the fact that, that maybe things are not so bright and cheery with the New Day anymore. In a good old-fashioned Donnybrook, Sheamus defeated Pete Dunne. In a 10-woman tag match, former women's tag team champions Kaden Carter and Katana Chance teamed with Maria Valkyrie, Natalia, and Zelina Vega to take on the 5 women of Pure Fusion Collective of Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark, and former women's champions Unholy Union of Hila Dawn and Alba Fire, in which the face team won. Chance, Carter, Natalia, Valkyria and Vega won the match. And then in a match for the WWE World Heavyweight title, Gunther retained over Sami Zayn by a referee's decision. So that all happened on last night's Monday Night Raw. As live tour in England. Where do I sign up? Well, I can check that for you if you want. Actually, I was gonna have to go to the. Let me see. I can tell you where those shows are going to be. Comdot. Okay. All right. So let's see. The 13th, which I believe. Let's see. The 13th, which I believe is. Let me see. That's I think this Sunday. They'll be in Cardiff. They'll be in Cardiff, Wales, at the Utilite Arena, Cardiff in Cardiff, Wales. That'll be on the 13th. Let me see. Then they'll be in Liverpool, on the 14th. They'll be in Newcastle upon Tyne on the 15th, and then in Manchester on the 16th. So 13th and 16th, they'll be in Cardiff, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Manchester. So Newcastle upon Tyne. So those are the 4 places they're going to be. If any of those are near you and you want to go check them out, go for it. They're calmed up. Let's see. As for the let's see. Let me also. In Liverpool, they'll be at the M&S Bank Arena. Let's see. In Newcastle upon Tyne, let's see where they'll be at the Utility Arena, Newcastle. So I guess there are 2 Utility arenas, one in Cardiff and one in Newcastle. And then in Manchester, they'll be at the Co-op Live Arena in so again, they'll be in Cardiff, Wales, Liverpool, Newcastle upon Tyne, and Manchester. So hopefully, if you do go, hope you enjoy going. So, anyways, now going back to tonight's. So on tonight's NXT. Episode from Chesterfield, Missouri, from the factory at the district in Chesterfield, Missouri. There'll be a six woman tag match as Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, as W tag team champions or women's tag team champions. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill will be teaming with NXT North America women's North American champion Kelani Jordan take on the team of Fatal Influence in 6-woman tag match of Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix. In a match for the NXT North American title, OB Femi answers the challenge of Tony D'Angelo. In a match for the NXT Tag Team titles, Axiom and Nathan Frazier will be defending the NXT Tag Team titles against former W Tag Team champions A-Town Down Under, and Randy Orton takes on Javon Evans. So that's all going down on tonight's NXT. Now getting ready to move on to the AEW. Go back to as tonight we'll have tonight they'll have as there'll be a special episode of Dynamite on tonight, titled Tuesday. And slated for the show tonight includes the undefeated Hologram taking on Commander in what should promise to be a very fast-paced, high-flying match. In a number one contendership four-way match for the number one contendership four-way match for the women's world title. So this one got kind of changed up, I guess. Saraya. So it'll be Saraya, Nyla Rose, Willow Nightingale, and Jamie Hayter. 3 of the 4 being former women's world champions, with Willow Nightingale being the one who isn't. Initially, it was supposed to be Willow Nightingale and Dr. Britt Baker. I don't know what happened, why it was changed, but it was. Mercedes, let's see, in a match for the AEW, TBS, and New Japan Strong women's titles, Mercedes Moné will be defending against Emi Sakura. And in a tag team match, AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson teams with Wheeler Yuta to take on Claudio Castagnoli and Pac. So that's all going down tonight on Dynamite. So with that, that's all I got for you in the wrestling wrap up here. So we'll get ready to move on to this day in each history segment. Just 1999, 1994. So today being of course Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. Let's take a look back at this day in each history. So let's go ahead. First, I'm going to head back 30 years ago today. On this date, 30 years ago today. Let's see. JC Staff's so the anime film Dark Side Blues, JC Staff, premiered in Japanese theaters on this date back in 1994. So 30 years ago today, JC Staff's Dark Side Blues, an anime film, premiered in Japan on this date back in 1994. So the storyline goes, the story involves the town of Kabukicho, home of a resistance faction called Messiah. In the futuristic setting, Kabukicho is one of the last places of freedom because the Persona Century Corporation has taken control of the majority of the earth. Kabukicho is hence known as the dark side of Tokyo. Furthermore, a mysterious stranger called Darkseid appears to protect the citizens of Kabukicho. So it's an action, fantasy, science fiction anime movie. So 30 years ago today, JC Staff's Dark Side Blues premiered in movie theaters. Also, moving on to 1999, 25 years ago today, and on this date, 25 years ago today, the famous author episode, as they claim it to be, the contest premieres as art styles parodied from independent programs such as South Park and Dr. Katz Professional Therapist. This episode was an actual contest won by Holly Holland, a young girl that lived in Canadian Oklahoma. So on this date, the author episode, The Contest, premiered on PBS, on PBS stations across the country on this date back in 1999. And finally, as soon as I can, and finally, on this date in 2003, 21 years ago today, on this date in 2003 here, the 15th issue of Bongo Comics presents Futurama Comics went on sale on this date back in 2003. So on this date in 2003, the 15th issue of Bongo Comics presents Futurama Comics went on sale on newsstands on this date back in 2003. It sold for $2.99 and was 32 pages. So there you go. So with that, I thank everybody for being here today. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. And I hope to see, and of course, we'll be back here with more Niche News tomorrow. And this Friday, of course, I was actually able to get a co-host as the Metal from the Vomitorium will actually be joining me on this Friday. As we look back to comics that went on sale in March 1940. This week we'll be looking at comics went on sale from Standard. We'll be looking at Thrilling Comic Volume 1, Issue 4, and Exciting Comics Volume 1, Issue 2. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.